lots of talk going around recently on the playoff bubble and the protocols and what's going to go on. So as I understand it, and I don't understand it perfectly well, but this is what I understand as of now. Now, I could be wrong, so don't take this for gospel. But as I sit here talking to you right now, this is what I understand is going on. The first round of games, there's 16 teams, they're going to make it. The first round is going to be called the wild card round. That's going to take place in the home team's city. So I think the higher seed, I'm not sure if there's travel days included, if it's going to be a 2-1, if it's going to, I think it's just a 3-game series at the higher seed. So if the Reds were to play the Padres, there would be 3 games in San Diego. I think that's how it's going to work out. So then the 8 winners of those series would go into a bubble. There's going to be 2 bubbles. There's going to be one in Southern California. I think it's the Dodgers and the Padres fields. There's going to be one in Texas at Houston and Dallas, at the Rangers and the Astros fields. The American League teams are going to play in the National League ballparks in California, and the National League teams are going to play in the American League ballparks in Texas. This is to create a neutral site feel. However, fans are going to be allowed in the stadiums, supposedly. I think in Texas they're allowed to have fans. I'm not sure about California, but as I understand it, fans are going to be allowed. At least players' families and stuff like that may be allowed into the game. Now, players are going to have to go into a bubble. They're going to have to isolate themselves, and this bubbling process is going to start September 22nd, from what I understand. So, players, we will be at home September 22nd. So I will be out of my apartment, and I will be put into a hotel here in Cincinnati. Then I will fly with the team to Minnesota to finish out the year, be isolated in the hotel. I'm not sure if there's going to be stricter regulations than there have been on the normal road trips or how that's going to work. And then we will fly to whatever city we're going to and be at the hotel under strict bubbling rules. I don't know what those protocols are going to be yet. Perhaps it's a normal road trip, perhaps it's not. Then after that, we would fly to the bubble site where all the rest of the playoffs would take place, and we would be in a hotel, we'd be secluded, isolated, we'd have protocols, can't go in or out, can't see people, stuff like that. So that's going to be an interesting process to see how that develops. Now, for family members, so players with families, either a spouse, maybe they have kids, maybe it's a fiance or a girlfriend that they've been with, significant other, whatever the case is, there's a couple different options for them. One, they can be general admission, like family type stuff, where you're not allowed to see them off the field because you're in a bubble, but they're going to come to the game. They're going to have tickets. They'll be accommodated by MLB in a hotel, whatever the case is. So for family, for like parents or grandparents or uncles or whoever you may want to come to the games, that is an option. For actual immediate family, like wives, kids, spouses, they're going to have to go through a quarantining process. So when we go on the road to Minnesota, those people, the wives, the kids, girlfriends, fiancés, whatever, would come and quarantine in a bubble scenario here in Cincinnati. So they'd have to be isolated for like 7 days and get tested and make sure that they're cleared from coronavirus. At which point they would fly to whichever city that we ended up playing in for first round of playoffs to meet up with the players, at which point they would be allowed to be in the hotel room with the players, but then they're trapped in the bubble for the rest of the time. Once they leave the bubble, they can't come back in during the playoffs. So then players would have their families and their kids with them in the bubble. So it's going to be an interesting. Thing to watch play out. I'm not sure. Hopefully everything goes smoothly and no one gets coronavirus. I think that's why they're doing it, because they don't want to have to postpone playoff games, which makes a lot of sense. So I just don't know. I don't know all the ramifications of it. I'm gonna wait and see how it plays out. I don't know if I have an opinion, a strong opinion one way or the other on it, but that's what I understand about the playoff bubble currently.